It was out in the corridor, a man in a shapeless shirt and trousers, with black and white stripes patterned all over it, looking like a convict from a movie, like a crazed madman who had just broken out of jail. But but it was his smile that held my gaze. His lips were put back in a grotesque grin, and his long tongue sagged out. And then I saw his neck. It had red burn marks around it. An even louder scream ripped itself from my throat. Oh no, they were the marks left by a hangman's rope, cutting into his flesh as he plunged to his death. Plunged to his doom. The man made a gurgling noise, a hideous choking sound, and vanished into thin air. I raced out of the cell, peering down the corridor, one way then the other. But the weird man was gone. Had I imagined him? No, he had been there, his wild eyes flashing at me, that swollen tongue thrashing around in his mouth. Luke raced from the cell to my side. He stared at me as though I were nuts. Dorian, what happened? Why did you scream? There was a dose out here, I gasped. The dose of a dead prisoner. How do you know he was a dead prisoner? Pebble demanded, stealing to a stop beside me. He was wearing a funny shirt and trousers with stripes on them, I blurted out, like people in jail wear in the movies. My heart was still hammering against my ribs. The old guy shuffled out from the cell and gaped at us. What was all the noise about? He croaked angrily. Dorian thought he saw a ghost, Luke replied. Ridiculous nonsense, the guide growled. There are dead souls here but no ghosts. But it is the same thing, isn't it? I tossed back. Dead ghosts come from dead souls, don't they? The guide glowered. Tell me exactly what you saw, boy. I saw a dead prisoner, large as life, right in front of me, I babbled. And he had been hanged. He had these red marks around his neck. Pebble shot me a sarcastic look. Dorian, are you sure? There is no one here now. Luke stroked his jaw. How come you were the only one to see the ghost? Why didn't we see it? I don't know, I snapped back. It must have been watching us when we were in the cell. I just happened to turn around and saw it. My friends looked at me as though they did not believe me. And then the guide was not amused either. I think you had better leave now. I do not like people mocking the dead and making up stories. I am not lying, I almost shouted. I did see a ghost. It is not my fault that a ghost here, is it? My temper was flaring. I was furious. I turned on my heels and strode up the corridor, my eyes fixed on the gallows high above. I had seen a ghost, and I was determined to find it again.